everyone, it's Emily and welcome to my channel. Today I am building my new Upgrowth challenge house, so that's super exciting. I've been working on this for a while. Well, when I say working on this for a while, it's more like this has been in the works for a while. I built the outside of this house a few weeks ago and I've only just recently had time to finish furnishing it, so yeah, I finally got that done and now we're gonna have a new house for the new generation, so that's super exciting. And when I was looking up houses to kind of like model this after and like inspiration pictures, I was looking up like 1930s stuff because the third generation of the challenge is like 1930s, 1940s, and originally my plan was to use this for some of the second generation, but mostly third generation, but now we're only going to be using it in the third generation, so I'm definitely glad that I went with that type of style for this house, and it makes more sense this way. So anyway, I was looking up different types of houses and I did like a craftsman style house for my 1920s house because we don't really have very many like art deco things in The Sims, and the second generation was only half of it was supposed to be like the 1920s. It was like based on the 1910s and the 1920s, so I didn't want it to be too like over the top like 1920s-ish stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with that. And we have a little bit of like vintage glamour stuff that I used in the furnishing of this house just to keep with the theme of like that time period. So yeah, we didn't miss out on any 1920s glam furniture. We got some of that in this house, but with the exterior, I looked up detached homes. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I think they're more common in the UK than they are in the US, and I'm pretty sure this challenge is like mostly based around like time periods in the US, but I might be wrong. Maybe it was the same in Europe as well, but I know that like not every country had the same like style and stuff in these time periods, so I think that it's mostly based around like the US and like maybe Canada. So yeah, keep that in mind. But the style of this like detached home I think was more popular in the UK, so that's kind of cool, mixing things up a little bit with this challenge. And I cut out the floor plan of this because first of all, it took a really long time and I completely changed it. Well, not completely, but I kept the upstairs more or less the same, but I changed the downstairs a lot because I realized that I was making the rooms really small and cramped, and something I wanted to do with this house versus the last house that we played in for this challenge was that I wanted it to be very open and easy to play in. So you'll see when I start furnishing it that I turn the walls, like I put the walls down and like put them like half up, half down, and that type of thing throughout the build, because I wanted to check and make sure that this house was like playable and looked good from that perspective. So that was something that I thought about a lot when I was building this house, because I didn't want to have the same issue I had last time where I had a lot of items that like looked nice when I was building but made it kind of unrealistic to play in. So this is a very like player friendly house in my opinion, so if you're looking for a new house to play in, maybe this isn't quite your style because it is a little bit old-fashioned, you can always update it, and I think that it would work really nicely. Or if you're playing this challenge, you could definitely pop this in your game. I think it's really nice, and I did some new things with landscaping. I hardly ever use those shrubs, but I felt like they fit this style really well, and it's nice to use things that you don't use very often, so that was another thing with this house that I really enjoyed doing. And this took me a really long time to build. I've been doing a few longer builds on my channel recently. Well, I had that collab with Dr. Ashley. That took me such a long time because it was a huge house and I was just furnishing it. And then I have, well, I have another video that's going up soon that took a long time, and I think it's going to go up after this one. It'll probably be a week from now you'll get another long build that's like a family house, and I just did the voiceover for that though, so in my head it's like it came before this one, but to you guys I'm pretty sure that that video is going to come out after this one. But anyway, we have a nice big side yard because I'm still building this on the lot that the family originally started on, so I wanted to make use of the side yard because that's something that the way that I built the house that we're currently playing in, it's only one floor and I think we're playing on a 20 by 30 lot, so to have a ranch style home on a 20 by 30 lot, you basically don't have any yard space, and I wanted to have yard space with this house, so I decided to make it 2 stories Even though in general I prefer playing with single story homes, but we do have a lot of Sims in this house, and I think that I've decided that if I have more Sims, I would rather have the upstairs be bedrooms and then have like the playable living space be downstairs on the first floor. So that just kind of makes it easier for me, and that's what I've come to determine that I like playing it the most. Usually in my free time, I'll play with smaller families, so it's not such a big deal to have everything on the same floor, but for this challenge, I think that we definitely need some different levels to kind of like compartmentalize the family, if that makes sense. I feel like that was the weirdest way of phrasing that, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, also I just realized that I put in a dog training thing, and our dog is probably going to be, ooh, yikes, our dog might be dead before we move into this house, and we're going to be getting a cat after that, so rip that little dog training area. I might have to take that out, and I don't think I added any cat stuff in this house, so that's kind of an issue. But we might get another dog. I don't know. It depends on what ends up happening. We'll see, because we have a couple of things for the new generation. If you aren't familiar with the Upgrowth challenge, it's like I think you kind of understand that like each generation is a different time period, and it's kind of like 2 decades is one generation is kind of how the challenge works out. But there are certain things, like there are different events every generation. So each generation you're going to have some kind of event where you're going to roll the dice to determine what happens with like what you're going to do for the generation, and usually it happens at the beginning, so you can kind of like base your gameplay for the rest of the generation off of that event if you want to. The second generations wasn't super exciting in my opinion. We just got to add some new lots to the downtown area, and it was basically like there was a fire, so there was like a disaster, and well, every generation you add more lots to the downtown area of Windenburg, and then with the second generation, though, you got to update some of the old lots because of the fire, and depending on like what number you rolled determined how many lots you got to update, like how many were affected by the fire. So there was that, and that was kind of like something I just did at the beginning of the generation, but it didn't affect how I played the game at all. But for the third generation, there's a war, and so you're supposed to send all of your male Sims, like teen through adult male Sims, are supposed to like go off to war. You have to put them on a different lot and like completely move them out of your family house. Because I'm playing on short lifespan, they have to stay there for a whole week, and then I have to roll the dice to determine what happens to them, like if they are wounded, if they are killed, if they can come home and be totally fine. And then there's also a thing where if they're wounded, they can't have certain jobs, and one of them is the doctor career, and my Sim is in the doctor career. So if he comes home wounded, he can't join the doctor career ever again. He has to pick something else, and his list of careers that he can be in is super limited. And there's also like another stipulation that your Sims, once they return from war, they can't go back to work for a week. And since I'm playing on short lifespan, the way that I play the challenge is that every 22 days we move on to the next generation, like 22 game days. So for my Sim to be gone for 7 days, that's like a decent amount of time right there. That's almost like a third of the generation. Then for them to not be able to work for 7 more days is like 14 days into the new generation is when they'll be able to work, and that would be like 7 parts in, and I do like 11 parts each generation. So that's kind of that could really affect some things. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. And now we just did the kitchen, as you guys just saw, but we're moving on to the living room, and I used a lot of the vintage glamour wallpapers in this house because I thought this was kind of the best time we would have to use these things. And with this generation, you're not supposed to upgrade your house at all, but we are going to be moving into this house before the new generation starts, and that's just because I think that I was getting so sick of the old house, and I couldn't think of a time that it would be good for them to move. And now with me having just finished building this house, I don't really have room in my schedule before the new generation starts to post the house build, and I wanted to post the house build and then have the first part of the new generation. So if you're new and this sounds interesting to you and you don't necessarily want to like catch up on the series, you can totally just start with the new generation, and it'll be like a little bit of a restart of things. It's not going to be like too much has changed in the family, but I feel like with this challenge, at least the way that I play it, you don't necessarily have to watch all of the stuff. Like, I don't have a super crazy storyline or like dramatic things happening, at least not yet. If you guys want me to do dramatic things, you can always give me suggestions or just let me know that you want to see more like drama in the family. But I usually like playing with just like normal, fun, wholesome family gameplay. So I don't really like go for drama on my own, but if you guys want that, I can make it happen. But I haven't gotten any recommendations for that yet, so I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. And I got this piano in here because one of the daughters, I think I want her to be in the entertainer career and play the piano because she wants to be a friend of the world, and she's like outgoing and stuff, and I feel like it would make sense that she would want to be in a career where she gets to like meet a lot of people and kind of be the center of attention and that type of thing. So yeah, and one of the new careers, or I don't know if it's even new for the third generation, but one of the careers that she's allowed to have at this stage in the challenge is the entertainer career. So I thought that fit pretty well. And I also thought that she might have wanted to be a writer, but because the writer career is like reserved for men in this generation, she isn't allowed to do that. So she just joins the entertainer career because it still allows her to like express herself and meet people. But she always has like wanted to be a writer. So I'm having her, like, now that she's a teen, I'm having her keep like a journal and stuff and write in it, and I'm gonna have her use the journal like all throughout her life as like her own personal little like sharing her writing, even though she can't do it as a career. So yeah, that's like the closest thing to drama that I've thought of, or like storyline. But that's because she is the heir for the next generation. So obviously I gave her a little bit more of a personality than some of my other Sims that have just kind of existed. Like a lot of the siblings of the first generation, or the second generation heir, I guess, his siblings we haven't really played much with. We see them every now and then, but they don't really have like much backstory, if that makes sense. So yeah, and also pretty much the only room on the first floor other than the main living area and the kitchen is this, what's it called? Oh my god, I didn't put a dining room in. I forgot a dining room? Did I really? Oh my god, don't tell me. I forgot a dining room. Wow. Okay, we might have to make some changes to this house when I go in to actually play this. I can't believe I forgot a dining room. Oh my gosh. But we have this nice little study, so that's really cool. Wow, I forgot a dining room. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna have to move that piano, and I'll probably end up putting it there. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I love this house so much, and now I'm gonna have to change it. That's so frustrating. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I'll fix it. We'll fix it before the challenge starts. But if you do want to download this house, there's no dining room, so just be aware of that. But now we're working on the only, or I guess it's not the only bathroom in the house, but it's the only full bathroom. We have that one bathroom downstairs, and also I want to change these toilets. I realized that when I was playing in the current house that they're living in, and they had those toilets from the vampire pack with like the pipe and like the little thing that's like way up on the wall, if you know what I'm talking about, if you have that pack or you've seen it before. But I think that toilet looks better for this generation than the one that I chose, so I'm going to be changing that for sure. But now I guess I'm also going to be adding in a dining room. And anyway, this bathroom is like the main family bathroom. I felt like, especially because their family isn't like super rich, but like the dad is a doctor, so like he does decently well, and he is going to be going off to war and stuff. So I felt like they should have like a nice house, but it's like, it could be like way more extravagant, but it is super nice already. But it could also like, it's not the absolute like craziest nice house. And part of why I did that is because I think I am going to cheat for money just a little bit to be able to afford this house, but I didn't want it to be like everything they could possibly want in a house, since I am going to cheat for it. So just so you know, if you're watching the challenge, we're going to be finagling the money a little bit to make this work, but that's okay. I think that it's fine. And personally, I would rather play in a house that I had to cheat for and have it look nice than play in a house that doesn't look nice and try to struggle for money. At least in a Let's Play, to me, I found that since I have to play Let's Play so much slower than I would normally play the game, it's harder for me to get to the point where they have enough money to be able to like renovate things properly. as like in a Let's Play format, then in my own time, I could just sit there and play the game for like 4 hours straight and get them a nicer house. But with a Let's Play, I only play it for like 1 or 2 hours every week. So it just takes a long time to actually get to a point where you feel like you're making progress. So I think that we're just gonna move into this house and just say maybe, you know, they found the hidden will to a long lost relative that died and now they have some new money. So that's what's happening here. And also I made the area between these two kids' bedrooms, it used to be a bathroom, but I shrunk that once I realized that I wanted to rearrange the floor plan, and I gave them both full like closets. So there's that. And right now, the way that the family is, we have a toddler who is a boy who is living in the blue room. It actually is set up more for a baby right now because I wasn't sure if she was going to have the baby before or after the move happened. So it's for a baby right now, but we'll change that when we get in there because he is a toddler. And then we have a toddler who's a girl, and she actually just aged up to a child, I think. So we're going to have to change a few things in this house. And then we have our teenage daughter, so she is in this room as well, but I think she was a child when I was decorating this. So this is definitely more of a kid's room, and I'll need to do a little bit of updating to make it more appropriate for their ages. So there's that to keep in mind. And I just kind of decorated it very pink and like pastel-y. Once again, I used some of the wallpapers from Vintage Glamour and then some other wallpapers with like floral stuff on them that I used a lot around the house. And one of the end tables that I used that was white had some black in it, so I kind of went with like a black, white, and pink theme for this, and then kind of like bunnies for the little girl because I thought that was cute. And she has some nice, cute little cloud shelves in there as well. And I really liked this boy's room. I thought it was super cute, and he has the same wallpaper pretty much, but in different colors. Pretty much the whole house has the same wallpaper in different colors for different rooms, in case you haven't noticed. But yeah, there's that. And I was trying to do a cool thing with the bookshelves, but then when I put the walls down, I realized that it was kind of like blocking the room, and I didn't want to do that, so I did get rid of that because, like I said, I was keeping the playability of this house in mind. So if you decide to download this, you'll have to let me know if you have downloaded any of my other houses, or even if you've just watched my speed builds, if you think that I accomplished what I was trying to do with like making this house more easy to play in, because since I am going to be playing in this like every week, once a week, for this challenge, I wanted to actually enjoy playing in it because I was really getting sick of the old house, and I'm so looking forward to moving because I only have one more part to record before we move into this house. So yeah, that's very exciting for me. Oh gosh, it was at a point where I was like, I just want to like bulldoze this lot and like, or I don't even want to play this challenge anymore because this house is making me so mad, but this house will be much better. And I'm just happy with how it turned out, in case you can't tell. But we're pretty much to the end of the video now. Oh man, I'm still so mad I forgot a dining room. I can't believe I did that. But we'll work one out. I know there's some space that I didn't furnish too much in this house because, like I said, I was trying to simplify it. And there's some space for one. I just kind of forgot about it, blanked a little, but oh well, it's fine. These things happen. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not already, and check out my Upgrowth challenge if you usually just watch my builds and you are into Let's Plays, because it's a fun little one, and I would love to hear more suggestions about things to do with the family. So that's all I have today. Thanks for watching. Bye!
It's delicious.